wonderful night for baseball. Game number 2 between the St. Louis Cardinals and the New York Mets. It's Mulder and Trachsel tonight here from the new Busch Stadium. And here in game number 2, it features 2 of the teams that stand out in the National League. When you talk about the Mets and the Cardinals, they are 2 among some of the best teams in all of the major leagues. You take a look at the White Sox, the defending champions. No surprise there with a record of 25-13. Maybe the most surprising record in baseball, Jim Leyland's Tigers at 25-13 as well. Then you have the Mets, second year under Willie Randolph. The Boston Red Sox, they're 8-2 in their last 10. And the St. Louis Cardinals, with a loss last night, are now 24-15. Now, I think we've all had problems at some point in time in our lives, maybe getting that gift certificate and trying to fit it into the envelope. How about here, Julio Franco working with St. Louis and Brad Lefton. And yes, it's a gift certificate to the one and only Jay Bucks that Julio had. He's struggling with it. We've all been through it. It's a windy night here at Busch. Ah, the heck with it. You take it, Brad. Cardinal baseball is coming up.
Your old
Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. Auto Tire, the tire pros. Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. And with more flights to more places than ever before, Southwest is taking low fares farther. Visit southwest.com.
From that great view down the left field line at about 4:20 earlier this afternoon, time lapse to a live shot before the Cardinals and the Mets get underway tonight. The Mets won round 1 on a rain-soaked night. A final of 8-3, and Willie Randolph is doing some stretching. You need to stretch at all times, all you young aspiring managers out there. Always stay loose. Our starting lineups brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Same look as last night. Reyes, Loduca, and Beltran. Carlos Delgado, David Wright, Floyd, Nady, Matsui, and Trachsel. Guy who used to work really slowly with the Chicago Cubs. The guy who served up number 62 to Mark McGwire back in 1998. And here is Mark Mulder, who's the Cardinals half of the Advanced Auto Parts pitching matchup.
And Mulder off to a good start. He's won 15 or more games, 5 consecutive years. No active pitcher has a current streak longer, and he's well on his way to his 6th. Just a terrific winning percentage, 50 games over 500. And yes, Albert, with the physical problems of yesterday, is back in there again today.
He is so resilient. Mulder hits the inside corner, a strike to Reyes. We're underway. And he's all full of fire and ready to go after the foul ball off his left calf and having his feet slide out from under him on the wet on deck circle last night. Still went out there in the top of the 9th inning, played defense and hoped to get one more at bat, and he came pretty close. Reyes with a count of 1 ball, 1 strike. He homered last night, and he takes a high strike, according to Jim Reynolds, the home plate umpire, and it's 1-2.
Most of the time with Mulder, you want to get the ball down. He induces a lot of ground balls.
And he gets a strikeout to start his night.
What a big swing.
Reyes is going to argue that that ball hit into the dirt, but Molina throws it around. Our Auto Tire around the horn. Rodriguez, Edmonds, and Encarnacion in the outfield. Rolen, Eckstein, Miles, and Pujols. Miles and Rodriguez did not play last night. Neither did Molina, who either caught that ball cleanly or trapped it. Either way, Reyes is still on a slow walk back to the dugout. He thought that he foul tipped it into the dirt. Let's take another look at that as ball 1 misses to Paul Loduca.
Yeah, but look at the big swing also. Big breaking ball, and didn't look like he made any contact. Well, he swung and missed it, didn't it? It hit the ground, but looked like more a swing and a miss.
The only thing that Reyes could have been arguing is, as he stood there, is that he foul tipped it into the dirt. If he swung and missed it, doesn't matter. Molina would have tagged him. Here's a shattered bat base hit right off the handle into left off the bat of Loduca. 1 on, 1 out. So Loduca will trade the bat for a hit. And he's on with 1 down for Beltran.
Well, Loduca's always been a good hitter. And there you see a ball's up in the zone, just saws off the bat, but he gets the base hit. This is a pretty good hitting team, the Mets, and they have some long ball power, and we're starting to get into that part of the order.
They can come and get you between Beltran, Delgado, Wright, Floyd, Nady, who has 8 home runs, a number 7 hitter. Beltran takes a ball in the dirt. Carlos is not off to a great start. Not bad, 9 home runs, but an average of just 263.
Switch hitter, and Mulder very good at inducing double plays. He's produced 11 this year. That's tops in the National League. Last year he tied for the National League lead with 32.
Injuries bothered Beltran in his first try with the Mets last year. First thing is to stay healthy and then settle in. Another packed house tonight here at Busch Stadium, part 3. The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Mulder, all 6'6", 215 pounds of him, 28-year-old left-hander. A free agent to be, and he sports a 4-1 record.
And the Cardinals have won 7 of his 8 games he's started.
Hard hit, should be. Rolen. Miles. Off we go into the bottom of the first. 5-4-3. There's another ground ball induced by Mulder. There's another double play ball. No score. Mets had a hit in their half of the first. Double play ball followed off the bat of Beltran, and the Cardinals will bat against Steve Trachsel. Their lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Eckstein, Rodriguez, and Pujols. Great career numbers against Steve Trachsel. Edmonds, Rolen, Encarnacion, Molina, Miles, and Mulder. Good at the bottom of the order, and here is the Mets half of the Rico pitching matchup. Steve Trachsel.
I see. 2-3 on the year overall, 9-8 in 26 career starts against St. Louis. He's won 10 or more games in 4 of the last 5 years. Notoriously slow worker.
And a guy who's on our list. Somebody who has suffered with a bad back. Here is the auto tire around the horn. The Mets defense. Same as last night. David Wright may have 7 errors this season, but he has the ability to make the eye-popping play. Reyes to his left, Matsui, Delgado, Floyd, Beltran, and Nady in the outfield, and Loduca does the catching for Trachsel, who takes his own sweet time.
David Wright, just one of those very special players, you know, that could develop and blossom into just one of the best in the league.
Won't turn 24 until December. He is young. Pitch 1 is ball 1 from Trachsel to Eckstein.
How about David? Boy, he just keeps on amazing me.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Plays every day. 375 home batting average. 312 overall.
Breaking ball is a high strike. And it's 1-2. Trachsel has been a pretty good pitcher for the Mets. His best year was 2003, won 16 games. ERA under 4. Eckstein slaps it foul. Last year made only 6 starts and was on the DL with a herniated disc in his back.
It's from the extreme first base side of the rubber. That's our theme.
Eckstein hooks it foul. That's my first rule for all young aspiring pitching coaches. Just if a guy's struggling, move him to the other side of the rubber and then go from there.
Well, what if you're throwing the ball outside to a right-handed batter, you know, so you move him towards the third base side, get him more in line.
Ground ball to Reyes, who's got a gun for an arm. 1 out.
But if you're throwing everything inside and you're throwing from the third base or first base side, you're in trouble.
That's not good. There's not much more you could go toward the first base side. Here is John Rodriguez, who was a fan favorite last year when he had toiled in the minor leagues for a lifetime and finally got a shot. made the most of it, and he is the early fan favorite to get everyday playing time in the outfield and bat the number 2 spot in this Cardinal lineup.
That 400 average will do that for you. You know, it's been a maturing process. 8.5 years in the minor leagues, came up, really didn't know how to handle himself. Pretty outgoing in some ways, maybe a little bit too much for a rookie. And you can see this year he's kind of backed off a lot, trying not to overstep his bounds. But John really wants to get involved in this community and wants to be a part of this community, get involved in a lot of charitable organizations. So any charities out there, send him a letter.
With 1 out. Good pitch from Trachsel, 73 miles per hour, and it stayed down, and now it's 1-2.
Trachsel working much faster than we're accustomed to. Keep that back loose that way.
Right in the back line of the batter's box, a little clunker back to Trachsel, and the first 2 have gone quietly. That'll stretch out Delgado's hamstring. Not what Trachsel had in mind. He kind of goosed it over there, and with 2 out and the bases empty, here comes Albert.
And kind of takes a little crow hop and then throws a sinker wide, but Delgado keeps his foot on the bag.
Here is Albert.
I got some news for you.
Okay.
Hard to believe, but Albert is 0 for his last 9.
His average still at 323. That is news. It's news when he makes an out. 0 for his last 10. The Cardinals go quietly in the first. 3 ground ball outs. We go to the second. Mulder back to the hill. Delgado right. Floyd coming up. No score. This is my favorite singular question of the young season. Singular wireless text message question. What is Albert Pujols' greatest asset? Hitting for power, A. Hitting for average, B. Defense, C. Leadership, D. Citizenship, E. You can text your vote to 42957. Stay tuned for the results later in the game. I know my answer.
All the above.
Definitely all the above, but if I had to pick one, leadership would be the one I would pick. He sets the tone for how this team plays. And I think a lot of guys, if they want to get lazy, and a lot of guys, if they want to look at bank accounts and they want to coast from day to day, and watch the way Albert Pujols plays, and they know they can't get away with it.
There's a lot to be said with that. And you know, some people lead by example. Other people want to be a leader but don't follow me. But this guy comes to play every single day and plays at such a high level.
Here's a 1-1 to Delgado as to lean back from a 68-mile-per-hour pitch that almost floated into him. Ball 2. Delgado 200, make it 382 home runs. About to crack the top 50 on the all-time home run list, and that's a strike. It's a big strike zone tonight. 2-2.
Delgado talking a little bit, the home plate umpire, but if you're a pitcher and you start seeing an umpire have a tendency to widen the strike zone, get ahead, and then you widen it too.
The 2-2 had him reaching. Delgado probably thinking about strike 2 as he heads back to the dugout after strike 3. 1 out.
He thought strike 2 was down, and here you see another good breaking ball away from him, getting him to reach out there. That part of the act of pitching is, you know, get ahead and then expand the zone and get hitters to go beyond the strike zone.
Wright grounds one into the hole for a base hit. Pitch was up, and David Wright rolled his wrists on it, and he is on, adding to his .308 average. Last night hit a key double to start that big rally in the 8th inning after the rain delay, which plated 4 and took it from a 4-3 game to an 8-3 game. Here's Cliff Floyd. Old Clifford got off the deck last night and was a big part of the Mets attack.
Yeah, he was 2 for 4, a run, a double, hit by pitch. He's hit 300 on this road trip. So maybe he's starting to figure things out, and 4 for 9 in his last 3 games.
And a check on David Wright, who was not too quick getting back to the bag. Was a little slow with that first step. Didn't read the move very well.
Would you be surprised if I told you David Wright has 7 steals?
Yes, I would be very
7 out of 8. I was surprised when I looked down and saw that.
Off the inside corner for ball to Cliff Floyd. After Floyd, it's Nady. We said it last night. And last night they go from switch hitter to right-hander to switch hitter to lefty, righty, lefty, righty, switch hitter. That's a good lineup. That's the kind of lineup where Tony Faucett used to never have a chance of getting in a game. He only pitched in those games where it was lefty, 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 and he'd come in and try to trick 3 hitters.
I just thought of something. How about a conversation between Tony Faucett and Jose Lima?
Boy,
there would be no stopping.
There'd be no oxygen.
It drained the building.
Lima will pitch tomorrow night if he's not too tired after his multiple conversations he has with others and himself during the course of the evening.
Billy Wagner and Tom Glavine were telling me, they said if we were going bad and we had to resort to that hairdo, we'd quit.
One ball, one strike on Floyd. One on, one out here in the second. Floyd, foul ball. I think you can look at these 2 teams, the Mets and the Cardinals, and I would consider them the 2 best teams, almost clearly the 2 best teams in the National League. And I know Mets fans believe that they are going to make a deal to add to their rotation, and I think Cardinal fans believe that somebody will be added to this lineup before the trading deadline comes and goes. So these are the 2 best teams in the National League, and I think they should meet in the postseason. There'll be a key element that'll be different on each team when they hook up, if they do in October.
That could be very interesting, and you know, as you said, they have the
Floyd gets it off the end of the bat, and a long run for Encarnacion.
They will have the payroll flexibility to add, but you know, one of the good things is they've got 3 starting pitchers on the disabled list right now. I'm going to get Bannister back soon, but you know, this is kind of a character building time for them, and they're passing the test.
Well, they've got 2 guys in the corner of their dugout. And Willie Randolph and his bench coach Jerry Emanuel, who is a very smart man and a guy who used to guide the White Sox, who are more than capable of getting them through a rough stretch where they don't have enough pitching. If the Cardinals are in the market for another outfielder, before the game they figured out that this guy should not be on the list. Hey, what do you want? What did he lose, his cell phone?
Wouldn't that be? That's fitting, isn't it?
Only Manny Ramirez could pull that off in the big leagues. Put a water bottle, a cell phone, and a fanny pack when he plays left.
I remember Rico Cardi used to carry his wallet in his back pocket because he didn't trust banks or anything.
Wow.
Of course, it wasn't as full as it would be today.
Xavier Nady at the plate, 2 out after Floyd flied to shallow right. If we don't see that guy trying to catch that ball going to break, no matter what happens the rest of this inning, then Mike Helling is not a good producer.
Ooh, and I know he's a good producer.
Oh, he's the best. Two and 0 the count. Nady is a threat, and Molina's a threat too as Wright gets back ahead of the tag by Pujols.
He's picked off 2 runners this year, 9 a year ago, and just the communication and the alertness of Albert Pujols, because you know Molina's going to make that snap throw anytime he sees that guy wandering.
Count has moved to 3-0 on Nady, and now 3-1. Gary Bennett did a nice job last night.
You know, I'll tell you one thing. I'm very impressed with Gary Bennett. You know, swinging the bat, creative back behind the plate. Molina's the #1. There's no denying that. But, you know, there's times when he's going to need a break, and it's nice to have a capable backup.
3-1 pitch is popped into shallow right. Encarnacion coming in. He's there. Middle of the second. Soak it in. May 17th, 1939. We look back. This date in baseball history brought to you by Schnucks. First ever televised baseball game. Princeton beats Columbia 2-1 at Baker Field. Contest is aired on W2XBS, an experimental station in New York City. And now fast forward to 2006, and we have that guy staggering around the outfield trying to catch a fly ball before the game.
Yeah, you may not know it, but that was the second game of the doubleheader. And I think it was the New York Times or one of the papers said they didn't think it was going to catch on.
The whole television thing?
The whole television thing.
Now, how could it? 1 ball, 1 strike on Edmonds, first up here in the second, and it's down and away. 2-1 from Trachsel.
Jimmy got that 11-game hitting streak going. Raised that average 76 points during that time.
2 balls, 2 strikes after Edmonds. It's Rolen and Encarnacion. Cardinals have 24 wins. The Mets have 24 wins. The top 2 teams in the National League. There's what Jim Edmonds has put together in the month of May. Almost came back on the inside corner. Full count.
Trachsel really moves the ball around, changes speeds, little of this, little of that.
Edmonds gets under it, and that might stay in play. It will. It's a fair ball, and it's caught by Floyd, 1 down. Pretty good wind. And if there was any idea of that ball slicing toward the line, getting out of play, brought it back a little bit. You can see the infielders, especially David Wright, change his route to that ball. Floyd makes the catch, 1 out.
Now, we talked about, you know, when you build a new stadium like this, you really don't know about the wind currents. And I think the wind has a tendency to affect a lot of balls in this stadium, much more than Busch Stadium 2.
A strike to Rolen.
Sometimes you look at those flags, they really don't indicate what it's going to do at the surface level.
Well, at Yankee Stadium, the wind actually blows the opposite direction of the flags.
Yeah, that's as they get inside and they kind of swirl around in the stadium.
Rolen hits the ball to center, and Beltran is there for out number 2. Cardinals are offering a limited edition inaugural game print featuring an awesome aerial view of the ballpark and St. Louis skyline on opening day. Order today, $98 by calling 314-345-9000. or go to stlcardinals.com.
I think that photographer right here is a member of the Ortega family, who I think it's 3 generations of St. Louis photography, and been doing their craft for a long time. And there's Grandpa had some unbelievable black and white shots as the city skyline developing, and it's going to be fun to see how that print will change with the ballpark village.
1 ball, 1 strike on Encarnacion. From where was that picture taken? That's my question.
By a helicopter. Could it be on the top of the Purina building? Something like that. That's about the highest building that way.
A 1-1, Encarnacion, strike 2.
To the south of the stadium.
Encarnacion was on base last night a couple of times, just hitting .232, 14 RBIs, and he waits for a 1-2 pitch from Trachsel. Straight up the chute on the infield for David Wright in fair territory, and the Cardinals are still looking for their first base runner. We go into the 3rd. Matsui, Trachsel, Reyes coming up. No score. No score, 3rd inning. 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Mets. Bottom 3 will bat for the Cardinals in the bottom of the inning. Mark Mulder allowed a hit in the 1st, followed it with a double play ball off the bat of Beltran. Allowed a David Wright hit in the 2nd, and then got Floyd and 80 on flies to right. And here is Kaz Matsui. This is the penultimate game of this series. 1 more to go tomorrow, and that will be Jason Marquis against Jose Lima, 12-10 start. Matsui takes a strike. Matsui, Miles. One out, and Trachsel will be the hitter.
A lot of people wondering about Mulder's velocity, but I think we all were in the impression he threw a lot harder when he came over from Oakland, but it's not about velocity. Glavine could show you that last night when he was 281st.
He proved that as a strike is into Trachsel.
More about quality of pitches and location, get the ball down, have movement on them.
Good velocity doesn't hurt.
Oh, it can pitch around a lot of mistakes, and in the heart of the plate. Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
1 ball, 1 strike on Trachsel, who is 3 for 13. Two and 1.
Sometimes Mulder gets out in front a little bit. His mechanics get a little out of whack, and rushing, doesn't stay back on his delivery.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
He throws from the 3rd base side of the rubber.
Well, he's left-handed. Trachsel throws from the other side. He's right-handed. Trachsel is gone, 2 down. Oh, he just got a piece of it, so he'll stay alive. And instead of strikeout number 3 and out number 2, it's a 2-2 count. That one did hit bat and then dirt. Molina didn't come up with it. Now a 2-2 is chopped back to Mulder. First 2 here in the 3rd inning are gone, and we will present to you the X-Men 3 pitch by pitch and the Reyes strikeout.
Well, this is the lead off the game. Mulder getting the ball up a little bit, so a high strike right there to Reyes. Then he follows up with another one that's up, but then watch the good curveball to put him away.
That's our X-Men 3 pitch by pitch. X-Men, The Last Stand, opens in theaters May 26th. With 2 out, here's Reyes again. Ball one. In-game box score scrolling across. The hits belong to Loduca and Wright. 1-0 pitch. Reyes wants it foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals have the day game tomorrow.
Kansas City. Interleague play starts.
Off to Kansas City and possibly a start for Reyes. Anthony Reyes on Saturday. So the team goes to Kansas City, San Francisco, and San Diego. It's a good trip for you. Now the count's 3-1 on Reyes, and you don't want to put him on, walk or hit or whatever it is, because he can fly. You put him on, and it's a stolen base opportunity with Loduca, a good contact hitter, coming up next. And instead, a broken bat, ground ball to Eckstein. We go to the bottom of the third. Mark Mulder hitting his spot on that out pitch as he got the ground ball off the bat of Jose Reyes. No score, bottom of number 3.
Look.
Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. Aflac, ask about it at work. And move your ideas forward with Rico dependability.
Yadier Molina first up. Cardinals looking for their first base runner. Steve Trachsel back to the hill. And Molina takes a strike. Yadier has almost perfected the science of catching and now trying to figure it out with the bat on a consistent basis at 174. No homers, 11 RBIs, not a bad total, and he's in the hole 0-2.
Just human nature, you know, you look at your batting average and you just get sick. But he knows he's a better hitter than that, and time will tell.
Aaron Miles will follow, and then Mark Mulder. And out in front of that pitch was Yadier. It's still 0-2, and there is Gary Bennett. Not only is a very capable backup, a pretty good hitter, a guy who likes warm drinks, but also a Craig Paquette lookalike.
Yeah, a little bit.
Been a nice addition to this team. 0-2 pitch to Yadier. And misses from Trachsel.
Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa can be very, very tough on their catchers. And they'll be the first ones to tell you that they've got 2 guys that they really don't have to worry about, that go in those meetings, become very creative, follow right into what they're trying to do, and willing to pay the price to work with the pitching staff. And then
rolled over to third. Good play by Wright. Has time and shows off his arm. A moment ago, Hal McRae was talking with Tony La Russa about what they're trying to do with Yadier Molina's approach at the plate, and about that right elbow which he's tucking in prior to the pitch.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's just the way he's holding his hands real close to up around the neck. But you know, that's the one thing that if you talk to Hal, that Molina, if he's not successful in 4 or 5 at bats, he'll change his stance again and again and again.
With 1 out, Aaron Miles takes the ball low. One guy who used to change his stance all the time, even when he was going and hitting well, was Cal Ripken.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the odd thing about it, because he could have a hitting streak and come out and change it, the next at bat.
Rod Carew, another guy on that list, as Trachsel misses down and away. 2-0.
I think they're a little more accomplished as hitters than Yadier is right now,
I would say. Aaron Miles is hitting .318. He is, I think, enjoying as fine a start as he could have ever hoped for coming to the Cardinals in that Ray King deal. Boy, where's that? That misses. It's 3-0.
And the club is 16-9 when Miles starts. Well, we've seen a couple high strikes from Jim Reynolds, the home plate umpire, and a few of them that are down that don't get called.
3 balls and a strike.
And Miles much more patient. His reputation is that he doesn't strike out much, but does not walk. And yet he's been accepting walks this year.
As he does here to become the first Cardinal base runner of the night. Cardinal fans, the Cubs are coming to town, and the AT&T Summer Series is here to celebrate this historic rivalry. Visit att.stlcardinals.com to learn how the new AT&T is delivering the epic battle to you like never before. The new AT&T, your world delivered. Here is Mulder. We all know that Mark can handle the bat. The Mets expect a bunt. Miles draws a throw. David Wright is way in at third. And as Mulder hits, just like they do when he pitches, Marquis, tomorrow's starter, and Carpenter and Suppan are there to watch. No bunt, at least on that first pitch. Strike one.
David Wright, third baseman, kind of going, oh my goodness. He's a big guy with a big swing. They tell me keep on playing in, but my heart's not in it.
Shows bunt, pulls back, and now we'll try to get it down. Foul, 0-2. Miles returns to first, and Tony has to go through these signs yet again.
I love how creative Tony has been with his pitchers. Standing in the batter's box, and whether it's a hit and run, bunt and run, just straight sacrifices. Trachsel steps off there to see if Mulder would give away what he's doing. Slug bunts.
And Mulder strikes out. So Mulder can't get a bunt down. He is the first strikeout victim for Steve Trachsel, and it's 1-on-2 out for Eckstein. Well, that wasn't very good, Al.
No, it was not. Trachsel one year had 2 1-hitters, and one of those no-hitters was broken up by none other than David Eckstein. He was with the Angels in 2003.
See if Miles wants to think about trying to swipe a base. This would be a time to do it. Strike one. If he's thrown out, then you start the next inning with Eckstein. If he makes it, then Eckstein, who's a singles type hitter, has a chance to drive him in. Miles so far this season has stolen 1 and has not been caught.
They're thinking right along with you, and David, pretty good at wielding the bat. Hit behind a runner, but as you said, you got your leadoff man. There are 2 outs. It takes a couple singles to score him. Not a bad time to run.
Just wide, 1 ball, 1 strike. Giants are trying to sweep at Houston. They lead 3-1 in the 3rd inning there. I believe Bonds has the night off.
I think I read that. Serge Springer became a fan favorite last night.
I read that too. Official word is Bonds is not in the lineup. That's a foul ball, and strike 2 on Eckstein. Back to first is Aaron Miles. One and 2 on Eckstein, who is hitting .310. Two strikes, even more of a reason to run. So Trachsel checks on Miles. Eckstein is number 2 in the National League with a home batting average in this new park of .375.
Tied for 4th in the National League with his 48 hits, which lead the club. Multi-hit leader with the Cardinals, 16. That's a little surprising with Pujols on the team.
Trying to go to right. It's foul. Still 1-2. I don't know of a better hitter on this current Cardinals club than David Eckstein at hitting the ball the other way.
Well, you know, and it's interesting as you see the defense, both the left fielder and right fielder playing, you know, fairly close to the lines, because he's one of the better hitters at turning on an inside pitch, and yet he'd go the opposite way too.
That's up and away. Eckstein wouldn't chase it. That might have been one of those pitches to try to drive to the right side. It's 2-2. Trachsel used to live behind the mound. He'd walk down, he'd rub the ball up, he'd get back on top, he'd look in, he'd step off, he'd get the sign. Take forever after coming set. He has really quickened his pace. However, he is bothered by Miles over at first.
A lot of pitchers slow things up when they get a base runner, but his pattern was just slow, and slower.
Eckstein base hit to left. And it's 2 on with 2 out, and John Rodriguez coming up, and Eckstein has the first Cardinal hit of the night.
Not going, ball away, but pulls it and gets it through the left side. Just a beautiful night. And a couple men on. Cardinals have won every home series. So important to win this game here tonight and push it to the rubber game tomorrow.
Here's a guy who came in hitting .412 in his 15 starts. John Rodriguez 0 for 1 tonight. Ball 1. There's that position with Pujols on deck. Trachsel's got to come right after Rodriguez. John will get something to hit.
And a little bit to the opposite field and left. And he's got a .600 batting average, 6 for 10 with runners in scoring position.
1 ball, 1 strike. Rodriguez has not hit a home run since September of last year.
And he has done as good a job and the best on the team of getting to that man on deck. It's funny to me how some guys have trouble hitting in certain positions in the batting order, but he says this is an enviable position, number 2 ahead of Pujols.
Strike 2 on Rodriguez.
Trying to keep throwing fastballs to him that are in the strike zone. So, out of off-speed pitches. All of a sudden, the hitter will think he can trick him. I throw him a couple off-speed pitches, maybe I can sneak a fastball by him.
John Rodriguez, who grew up in New York, trying to burn the Mets here with a 2-out hit. Cannot. Trachsel gets it by him upstairs, rings up his second of the inning and the game. Cardinals lead 2, and after 3, no score. Chase Bauer, this year's area winner of the Briggs and Stratton Diamonds in the Rough essay contest. Chase won his baseball field in Old Monroe, Missouri, $5,000 worth of refurbishments, and is now eligible for the $20,000 grand prize. You can visit BriggsDiamondsInTheRough.com and vote for Chase Bauer. Here's Mulder, 4th inning. Loduca, Beltran, and Delgado. 2, 3, and 4 hitters. One pitch, one backhand, one long throw, one out. Loduca, who has one of the 2 Mets hits, is the first out here in the 4th inning. And here's Beltran, who bounced into a 5-4-3 double play back in the 1st. Said it last night, the Mets are here in St. Louis with the Cardinals. They go home for the Yankees at Shea. And then they have the Philadelphia Phillies coming to town, starting the day 2 games up on Charlie Manuel's team.
How about Philadelphia with the start that they got off to, especially at home? Couldn't buy a victory. Right back in the thick of things.
And how proud should St. Louis be of native son Ryan Howard? Reigning Rookie of the Year in the National League, is off to a great start.
He's really a nice young man, too.
3-0 on Beltran. And he takes a 4-pitch walk. First walk by Mulder tonight. And Delgado walks in. Baseball heaven, baby. You are looking at it. Delgado at 286, 13 homers, 29 RBIs. This park really is beautiful to look down onto the field, and the way these seats are set up. This is, oh, what a pick. What a play by Rolen. He was the lone soldier on the left side of the infield. He had to go way to his left, get a short hop, and get a little 5-4-3 double play. Second of the night turned by the Cardinals. Still no score.
Play home.
The 4th going to break. I said 5-4-3 double play was 5-6-3 double play, with Rolen feeding Eckstein, who was near the bag.
I let him reach out there and just a little shovel underhand toss to Eckstein, and very nifty. Second double play turn. Mulder leads the National League with 13 on the year.
The way to get around a walk to Beltran. Now Albert takes a strike and a good fastball from Trachsel. How many people across the St. Louis area and beyond have a picture of Steve Trachsel in their house? I bet there are many
that don't realize it.
Don't realize they do. I have one. Trachsel was the man on the mound who served up home run number 62 to McGuire. Here's a line drive and a left. Floyd to his left. That was not an easy play. 1 out. Let's take you back. Down the left field line. Is it enough? Gone! There it is! 62! Touch first, Mark. You are the new single season home run king. Trachsel was the man who delivered it. Probably the happiest guy that Barry Bonds broke the record just after. Was it 1 season after or 2 seasons after that Bonds broke that record?
Or was it 3? I'm not sure.
The record was set with 70 in 1998. When did Bonds break it?
2001, I think. Oh. Maris's record lasted like 37 years, and Mark's 3.
Edmonds with 1 out. Takes ball 2, 2-1.
Well, now Downing served up Henry Aaron's, what, 715?
Yep.
Commissioner and everybody was ready to have an investigation, see if the pitch was served.
That's wide. 3-1.
How tough it is just to tell a hitter, okay, I'm going to throw this pitch right here, and you still have to hit it.
Edmonds with a pretty good rip, full count. Jim flied to left his first time up. Pujols just lined to left. Rolen on deck. Not much doing for the Cardinals. Again here tonight early. Last night it took them a while to break through against Glavine. Edmonds spoiled it.
The second time, Jim's kind of really almost one-handed, throwing the bat a little bit at a pitch. Said the ribs still bothering.
With one out, Edmonds hits it foul. Good play.
Matt Usher has pretty good hands.
I like that.
Seeing a lot of times he doesn't even use a glove. And he made another fan.
That guy knew that whenever he got a ball, he was immediately going to that kid.
Yeah. They kind of pick him out.
That's Aaron down the right field line for the Cardinals. Edmonds pops it up. Was hustling down to first, and it almost paid off because Wright staggered to make that catch. Take a look at the Suntrip Automotive Family Home Run recap. 41 home runs. They donate $100 for every Cardinal home run hit to their Win One for the Kids charity fund. 2 out. Here's Rolen, who lined out to center back in the second.
Scott, 325 average, 16 home runs, and 60 RBIs in his career versus the Mets.
The 1-0 to Scott is low. 2-0. Rolen was living above 300. Little tailspin has dropped him to 288. On the corner, it's 2-1.
He's hit only 256 since returning from injury. You know, or the illness. Missed 9 games, and he really expected very little of himself when he first returned. He had a pretty first couple days were pretty good, but now it's kind of settled in. I think it maybe affected his defense more than his offense.
Rolen is under the impression and has been told by the doctors that he will not feel 100%, quote unquote, until next season. And until then, he's just going to have to get what he can get out of that shoulder and out of at bats.
Well, but you know how tough he is and how much he wants to play. But I think he's pretty pleased with, if this is not 100%, what he is playing with, and that if it feels this good now, that it's going to be even better next year.
Encarnacion would like to pop one. He's hit 5 home runs. Popped up his first time. Ball 1 from Trachsel. Trachsel's starting to get into a little trouble with his control. Fell behind Edmonds, came back to get him on the pop-up. Walked Rolen. A check on Scott. .74 degrees at the start of the night. Much more pleasant than game 1 of this series. Last night. 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. 65 pitches for Trachsel as he works here in the 4th. 2-2. When is it going to click in with Juan Encarnacion? Whether it's work with Hal McRae or moral support from Albert Pujols, it's on Juan to get it done in the batter's box. Set up at 1-2 and another check on Rolen.
Had 2 outs, work on the hitter. 2 strikes.
Two balls, 2 strikes. The Mets in the 5th will have Wright, Floyd, and Nady. They do not believe that Encarnacion is going to drive the ball to left center field off Trachsel. If he can plug that gap, Rolen will come all the way around and score.
Come in on him here.
Still 2-2. Cincinnati is losing again at Pittsburgh. Houston now trails at home to San Francisco 7-1, and evidently the Roger Clemens decision is coming sooner rather than later as to A, when he will pitch. I guess A, if he will pitch, B, when, and C, who or who. I think right now the favorite would still have to be Houston. Boston's in the mix, the Yankees, and an outside chance with the Rangers. Encarnacion, a little pop up into right. Nady is coming on, and the Cardinals can't mount an attack against Trachsel. Aaron has done a nice job down that right field line. Made a friend with a young fan in that inning. No score after 4. A lot of frustration on the part of hitters tonight. Wind whipping around a little bit, and no score into the 5th as David Wright, who has one of the 2 New York hits, takes a strike. Wright bounced one through the left side his first time up. He'll be followed by Floyd and Nady, and that's down into the left field corner. An easy double for David Wright to start this 5th inning, and that's the first extra base hit of this game.
Talked about David Wright being a very attractive young hitter, and his overall play is outstanding. Waited on that pitch. Just a rifle beyond the reach of Rolen. You'd think he'd catch that one. He'd pull his shoulder right out of the socket. Rodriguez takes it out of the corner, but that's a double all over it. So a single and double for Wright tonight.
Here's Cliff Floyd. Best chance of the night for either team to get a run. Floyd, his first time up, popped into short right. Here he grounds to the right side. Over to third goes Wright. 1 away.
At the very least, he moved the runner along.
Now Nady will be the hitter with the runner at third, 1 down.
This is where Mulder has to really bear down. Start out, and your mindset is that you're going to get a pop-up. If you're lucky enough to get to 2 strikes, then you really go for the strikeout. You can't strike somebody out until you get 2 strikes on them.
Nady has 20 RBIs to go with his 8 home runs. He flied to right his first time. The infield is in. And Nady gets hit. It's not a fastball. Pitch that got away, and it's 2 on with 1 out.
Well, Mulder's already induced 2 double plays today. Going to get a third.
Here's Kaz Matsui. RBI chance for Matsui, who limited tries has 5 on the year. Edmonds is shallow and in right center, at least toward right center. Cardinal infielders looking for a double play. Matsui can run. Ball 1 low.
You'd have to think Willie Randolph. He's got home run hitters, but he's also got a stolen base game. Is the squeeze part of his repertoire?
Matsui started this season on the DL with a bad knee. Came off the DL, homered in his first game on April 20th. He's a guy who's hit safely in 9 of his last 10 games. So Mulder has fallen behind 1 ball, no strikes. On deck is the pitcher, a chance to get out of this. Off the end of the bat, that's a big out. Eckstein is under it. 2 down with a pitcher coming up. Matsui cannot get the job done.
I was talking about when Nady was up there that Mulder wanted to pop up. After a hit batsman, he gets the pop up here. And that was a big swing. Got underneath it, popped it up. Now Trachsel can help himself, but pretty efficient there. 51 pitches and 1 pitch. He could be through 5 innings.
Trachsel's up near 70. Now he's trying to get a hit, and he takes the ball up and away. First time up, Trachsel got ahead on the count, eventually knocked one back to Mulder for an out. He's 0 for 1. He has 3 hits on the year, and he needs 1 here. A double, a ground out, a hit batsman, a pop up, and ball 2, 2-0 with a dangerous Jose Reyes on deck. He has just made Trachsel a much more dangerous hitter by running the count to 2-0.
Yeah, almost trying to make perfect pitches where falling behind, but
3-0.
Dave Duncan's like, wait a minute, just made a great pitch to get the second out. Now you got the pitcher up there, and all you need is 1 more good pitch.
Trachsel will take on 3-0.
I'm sure.
Get Mulder to throw a strike.
At least he threw that pitch instead of just aiming it, you know, where it goes wide.
He'll need to throw another, maybe 2 more. On 3-1, 1st and 3rd, 2 out. There's strike 2. Beatty will get a break from first with a full count on the hitter and 2 out.
Just believe that your best is go right after him. Just throw that pitch down.
And Trachsel pops it into center. So Mulder gets into and out of trouble and pitches around a leadoff double by David Wright. Halfway through this one, no score into the bottom of the 5th. Hardy's hot pitch of the game with 1st and 3rd, 1 out. A big out as Mulder got the pop-up from Matsui.
All right, look at that swing. Took a lot off the pitch. Had him out in front, right off the end of the bat, pops it up on the infield, and we still have a scoreless game.
Each side is stranded 3. The Cardinals have only 1 hit.
David Eckstein.
So Trachsel's been too much.
So I said 2003 he had a pair of 1-hitters. Eckstein broke one of those no-hitters up. I think Yadier is going to get a hit here.
Grounded out his first time. Miles and Mulder will be the next 2. That pitch was up, took a good rip, strike one.
See where his hands are this time at the plate.
Yeah, last time we caught Tony La Russa talking with Hal McRae in the dugout about kind of curling those hands together and keeping that right elbow up next to his body.
Now, earlier he was swaying. He's still back in there. He does start that way, but then he brings the hands back to get a little mechanism going.
Pops it up on the infield for David Wright. Wind must really be playing with a baseball because Wright has struggled on a couple of pop-ups. One down though, and Miles will be the hitter. Friday night, get a look around the major leagues with FSN Baseball Report. We're covering every team all season long with highlights, interviews, and analysis you will not get anywhere else. FSN Baseball Report Friday at 6. Right here on FSN Midwest, while the Cardinals will be in Kansas City that night.
There are a lot of times you see a lot of pop-ups like we've seen Trachsel induced today, and you think of its movement. Just not being able to center the ball.
One on Miles, tried to bunt his way on. Walked his first time. Breaking ball is over but low. Cardinals have been handed 2 walks, and Eckstein has a single. That is it. Shallow all across the outfield are the Mets. Another pop-up. Wright waits for it. 2 down. That is 4 pop outs to the third baseman David Wright in 4 2/3 innings.
And add a couple more ground balls. He started.
Here's Mulder. If Mulder makes it out here, each side will start the 6th inning with the top of their lineup. For the Mets, that means Reyes, Loduca, and Beltran.
Mulder's hitting a home run.
Really? Strike one. He hit one here on opening day. There's a Tom Seaver number and name on that t-shirt. Mets fan here in the stadium. Here's a 1-1 to Mark Mulder. Full swing, strike 2. Trachsel is up near 80 pitches on his night. But as we pointed out last night, the Mets, when they get into their bullpen, can bring some arms at you that can really heat it up. Mulder trying to dump one into left field. Floyd will not get there, and it's a 1-hop hit. Only the 2nd hit of the night for the Cardinals. Even playing shallow, Floyd did not get this.
Kind of a defensive swing, so another good pitch and better luck for Mulder. Ball slicing away from Floyd. Little League, it might have been a home run.
Here's Eckstein, 1 for 2. He's grounded out. He's singled. He would love to again present John Rodriguez with an RBI chance.
Delgado playing behind him or shadowing Mulder.
Eckstein, ball 1. David's average up to 314. Waiting for a 1-0 pitch from Trachsel. Easy in the air for Floyd. The Cardinals are finished in the 5th. We go to the 6th. Top of the order for the Mets coming up against Mark Mulder. No score. New York, St. Louis. The best damn sports show period only on FSN Midwest. Tonight they will have Rick Riley as a guest, Mike Scioscia. To go along with the usual cast and crew. That means Chris Rose and Rob Dibble and John Sally and Rodney Peete. Right here on FSN Midwest. Meanwhile, we have a scoreless game, 6th inning, and Mark Mulder is back to work against the top of the Mets lineup. Reyes first up. Reyes takes a breaking ball for ball 1.
Did you think Scioscia would be as good a manager as he has turned out to be?
That's a loaded question, and I refuse to answer. I would say this. I think he is the best manager in the American League. How about that? Did I think he would be that? No. Did I think he'd be a good manager? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you could just tell his playing days with the Dodgers and just his ability to communicate, being a catcher.
Back to Mulder. Good play. That took a hit away from Reyes. 1 out. Of all the guys, Al, that we go in and talk to in the postseason, and Torrey is kind of in his own category of guys that are there working with a young team, trying to teach him lessons, trying to communicate, as you said, with a pitching staff. He's got a great guy in Bud Black, who I think will be a great manager if he wants to do it someday. I think that's the best, most forward-thinking group that we run across. And he's just a good guy. Loduca with 1 out takes a ball.
Hatcher and Renicky in there.
Joe Madden was
the
bench coach, and now he's the
Tampa
manager
Bay.
of the Devil Rays.
And a big Cardinal fan.
Here's a 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike on Loduca, who's 1 for 2.
Do you know I roomed with Scioscia in winter ball one year?
He's a funny guy.
Down in the Dominican.
I did not know that.
He was a young kid, and I kind of got special permission to play one year.
Good pitch from Mulder, down and away, off speed, strike 2 on Loduca. How about the guys that Scioscia had to replace in Los Angeles, especially Yeager, who was there forever, and Scioscia kind of took the mantle and was there for a decade.
And nobody tougher at holding his ground at home plate.
There is strikeout number 3 for Mulder, and Loduca has nothing to complain about that pitch.
Let's take a look at it. Big breaking ball, and just couldn't pull the trigger. Still think about Jack Clark running over Scioscia and asked him where town he was, and he only missed it by about 2,000 miles.
With 2 out, nobody on, Beltran. That was a collision out at Dodger Stadium that I was back in St. Louis watching on television, and I won't forget.
You felt it.
I felt it. You felt it everywhere. 0-1 to Beltran is off the hands, foul tip. It's 0-2, and Mulder has made some of his better pitches here in this 6th inning tonight.
You know, he can get into kind of a groove, and he just looks so fluid and easy out there, just effortless.
He's got these hitters diving and off balance and trying to figure out if it's a fastball, a changeup, a curveball, and it's 1-2 on Beltran.
It's a good hitting team too. Fastball in. Can he spot it?
Got him looking. How about that inning from Mark Mulder? That's what happens when on Monday you go play at Augusta. You turn around, your next start, and your lights out. No score into the bottom of the 6th. What's on Tap is brought to you by Bud Light. How about tomorrow? Up and at 'em early, 11:30 in the morning on FSN Midwest. And a look at one of our longtime camera operators, Ken Roberts. He is going to be headed off on a cruise next week to Alaska, and we hope he has a great time. Rodriguez out in front of that changeup from Trachsel, strike 1. My dad went on an Alaskan cruise with my mom and Thought it was the best cruise he'd ever been on.
I spent 5 days up in Alaska one time. Not on a cruise.
0-1 the count. Rodriguez takes the ball. John has struck out and bounced back to the pitcher. He has not been able to figure out Trachsel tonight.
It's like you close down towns. It's a tough place to do it. Never get started.
1 ball, 1 strike. Pujols on deck. To the right side, Delgado. To Trachsel, 1 out. So Pujols will bat with the bases empty, and Albert looks for his first hit of this series. And trying to snap a skid.
He's homered in 11 of the team's first 13 series. Major leader in home runs, RBIs, runs, total bases, and slugging percentage.
But 0 for his last 11.
There you go, being negative.
Oh.
How did you learn that?
From you. I learned it from you.
Oh.
Ball 1 down and away. Now I'm bringing it up for the do factor.
The do factor.
He is due.
And you know, been at least 2 days since he's had a game-winning RBI.
He could get that with 1 swing, and Mulder keeps pitching the way he's pitching. 2-0 on Pujols.
And a goose eggs up there. Over the bottom half be.
Edmonds next. The 2-0. Very careful on 2-0 to Pujols. Nobody changes baseballs during the course of a game more than Steve Trachsel. In fact, you could throw him the same baseball back out after he just threw it in.
Wouldn't know it, yeah.
Probably wouldn't know it.
3-0.
Fastball hits the outside corner, belt high, 3-1.
Trachsel's only surrendered 3 home runs coming in to tonight's game.
A 1-out walk, the 3rd walk handed out by Trachsel tonight. Jim Edmonds walks in.
Edmonds hit in .333, and at bats following a Pujols walk.
Everybody deep for Edmonds in the outfield for the Mets. 5 homers, 27 RBIs. Did not get it all. Off the hands and into right center. Beltran to his left, 2 out. It's up to Rolen.
Scotty leads the team with 7 doubles, and the way Albert runs the bases, a double here would probably give the Cardinals the lead in the first run of the game.
Nobody's pushed 1 across yet. The Mets have come the closest, had 1st and 3rd, only 1 out in the 5th, didn't do anything with it. Runner at first, 2 out, Rolen. Hitting .284, takes a strike. Scott has walked and flied to center.
Look at the big gap out in left center. They're all deep.
The bowed head protest from Scott Rolen, who didn't like either call. is this the changeup on 0-2?
Changeup or something, trick pitch like that.
Rolen lines one into left center field. Will it scoot to the wall? Run, Albert, run. All the way to third, all the way home. Rolen has delivered 1-0 in the 6th.
Albert may be banged up, but when he smells a run, he'll scoot and scuttle around those bases. Double would get it. Look, he almost takes it off the ground. The off-speed pitch and plugs the gap out there. We talked about left center was a big gaping hole, and Albert, who's just obsessed with scoring runs, gets another, trying to become the first player ever to lead the league in runs scored 4 consecutive years. The last to do it 3 years, other than Pujols, was Pete Rose, and nobody's done it 4 years, and Albert's leading in that department.
Encarnacion pops it up. Matsui puts it away. Encarnacion hitless on the night, but the Cardinals are no longer scoreless. First extra base hit belongs to Rolen. 1-0 after 6. This is your moment in the sun, kid. Don't mess it up. The Busch Light Midwest Sports Report coming up after the game. Cardinals post-game coverage. That includes Al and me. And today's sports news and notes from around not only baseball, but football and hockey and the NBA, whatever your heart desires. 7th inning, 1-0. The only run belonging to the Cardinals thanks to a 2-out RBI double by Scott Rolen. Mulder back to work, and he has some big bats to try and tame here in the 7th. Delgado, Wright, Floyd. So far, Mulder has been terrific. The 0-1. The 1-1 is down and in. 2 balls and a strike.
Got him the lead. Let's see if Mulder can go out there and pitch as well as he did in the 6th inning.
That would be nice. That's too far inside. 3-1.
Some of those pitches, though, that appeared he might have gotten earlier. One mistake and Delgado can tie it up.
Good pitch under the hands of Delgado, a full count.
80% of the time when Mulder does give up a home run, it is to a right-handed batter.
What's it going to be on 3-2? In the air to left, that ball's well hit. Back is Rodriguez, about 3 steps in front of the wall. 1 out. Mike Helling says we'll look at that one pitch by pitch. It's brought to you by your Mid-America Chevrolet dealers.
Well, you got a dangerous hitter up there. Gets that kind of that cutter out there. Then he starts throwing the sinkers down the way, pounding inside. Doesn't get the call. Another one inside there. Then they've got below the hands, and then the one down and away that he line drive, and it's nice to see Rodriguez use 2 hands.
There's David Wright, has not been retired tonight. The breaking ball is down and in. When you look at that pitch by pitch from center field, you realize that, I don't know about that last pitch, but for the most part, Mulder put the ball where he was trying to put it during that entire at bat by Delgado. Right into right. 2 down. It's time to tell you and our viewing audience, the copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC. 2 out. Here is Cliff Floyd, who's 0 for 2. Floyd takes a strike at the knees.
Example right there, what you're talking about. Mulder just hitting his target perfectly down the way. Gonna try and go inside here.
Floyd wheels on it. It's 0-2.
Molina setting up late, trying not to. That one he kind of missed over the plate there, but Floyd couldn't do anything with it. 0-2. Been very efficient tonight. Back inside.
Still 0-2.
80 pitches thrown and one pitch possibly of getting through the 7th inning. Want the fastball in, the curveball. He's had a good one tonight.
Oh, got him looking with a thing of beauty. That's 5 strikeouts, 3 in the last 6 outs. He wanted the curveball, and why not? When you can toss it up there with this kind of bite on it. He had Floyd frozen. Time to stretch. 1-0. This portion of Cardinal baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Enjoy the big taste and the big value of Jack's delicious value meal by your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers. And by U.S. Cellular, we connect with you. One to nothing. Cardinals lead at bottom of the 7th. Molina takes a bender in there for a strike. It's our Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. Who is it, Tim Garcia? You can peel yourself away from the ice cream for a moment. Adam Thornberry is our merchandise winner in the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. Hey, if it's true, it hurts a little bit, doesn't it? Qualifies for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. 1-1 to Molina is over but low. What bat did Yadier bring with him to the plate? Swung right through it. It's got a hole in it. 2-2. I don't know how he missed it. He swung right through that pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pops it up. Another pop-up. It has been that kind of a night for Cardinal hitters. Molina's 0 for 3. And with him in that plate appearance was Albert's bat.
Wow, that was a Albert rejected bat.
Here's Aaron Miles with 1 out, nobody on. 0 for 1 is Miles with a walk. Hitting .315 and trying to get on in front of Mulder, who has really pitched well tonight. Ball 1 low.
Sanchez warming up for the Mets.
Predictably, the Cardinal bullpen is quiet. 1 ball, 1 strike on Miles.
He plays shallow in left field and close to the line. The left fielder Floyd behind Trachsel. That opens up a big gap right around the Mets bullpen out to left center. Gotta give Trachsel some credit. He's pitched a very good ball game. It's a little better by Mulder.
2 balls and a strike on Miles. In the top of the 8th, it'll be the bottom 3 for New York. So this is probably the last inning for Steve Trachsel. And you're right, he has pitched extremely well. Miles hits it into right, sending Nady back in front of the track. 2 out. Cardinal fans, the Cubs are coming to town, and the AT&T Summer Series is here to celebrate. Just visit att.stlcardinals.com to learn how the new AT&T is delivering the epic battle to you like never before. The new AT&T, your world delivered. 2 out and nobody on. Here is Mulder, 1 for 2. Strike 1 from Trachsel. One ball, 1 strike. Mulder takes a pitch up and away, 2-1. You know that Mulder's concentration is on what he has to do on the mound, and right now his body is standing at home plate with a bat in his hand.
Yeah, sometimes you get into a game like this, you're physically in the batter's box, but you're mentally on the mound pitching your next inning.
2-1 pitch is down and in. 3-1. 2 out in the inning, nothing doing at the moment, and Eckstein on deck.
And the last thing you want is to end up on base.
Unless it leads to runs.
Unless it leads to runs.
Mulder is second hit of the night into right center field. Nady circles it. Gets it back in with 2 out. The only Cardinal tonight with more than 1 hit is Mark Mulder.
It's his night. Couple hits, brilliant pitching. 7 innings, a 3-hit shutout ball.
Eckstein has a hit tonight, 1 for 3. Play behind Mulder at first, and that's worthwhile with a guy like Eckstein at the plate who will use the right side of the infield.
It surprises us that more teams don't do that, particularly with 2 outs and a pitcher running.
Strike 1 from Trachsel. As Al mentioned, Juaner Sanchez is ready to go in the Mets bullpen if the Cardinals get something cooking here in the 7th. Up to 109 pitches on the night for Trachsel. It's 0-2.
One of the better pitching performances we've seen from Trachsel. And you see well over his average for the season.
An 0-2 pitch. This crowd is packed in here. Another sellout. They'll open the other seating areas at the end of the month. They haven't seen a lot of action, but they've seen a good game, I would say. 1-0 here in the bottom of the 7th. Nothing wrong with a 1-0 game, Al.
Oh, not at all. I mean, I got to appreciate it because one pitch could change the outcome.
Eckstein, another pop-up, man. In foul territory, Delgado, and off we go into the 8th inning. It'll be Nady, Matsui, and then the pitcher spot for the Mets, who trail the Cardinals by 1. Tonight, Cardinal fans, are you always traveling and missing games? Watch Cardinal games live online whenever you are away from home, exclusively from MLB.TV. STLCardinals.com has more live games than anyone else. STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. The turning point in this game, when Mulder got out of a 1st and 3rd 1-out situation in the 5th, bottom of the 6th, the old 2-out RBI double, the only run of the night. As that line drive by Rolen got all the way to the track and scored Pujols from first. Nady reaching for a pitch, strike 1.
Mulder, as you said, there in the 5th. Since that time, got the last 2 outs. He's retired 8 in a row. And really has been in command. There he had another dangerous hitter reaching for a pitch.
And reaching again. Mark is big enough with a wingspan to go get it. 1 out. So Taguchi is taken over and left. And that tells you all you need to know about what Tony La Russa thinks about the pitching tonight of Mark Mulder. Why? because the number 2 spot will lead it off for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 8th. But La Russa wants a tighter defense behind Mulder with the way he's pitching.
I saw Lena with that target, really working with Mulder.
Matsui takes the ball. Kaz is 0 for 2, and he was the guy at the front end of that little highlight package that popped out. With first and third, 1 out at the time. The Mets' best scoring chance, and Matsui had the opportunity and did nothing with it. Julio Franco is on deck. He, at the moment, appears to be ready to hit for Trachsel. 2-1. Seven innings for Trachsel tonight. 1 run on only 4 hits.
Sanchez is still throwing in the Mets pen.
2-2 on Matsui. 3 walks, 2 strikeouts for Trachsel.
We'll see how Mulder's, boy, he just can't wait to get on that rubber and throw a pitch. Come in on.
Matsui, chopper to third. Rolen, 2 down. And Mulder is making it look easy now. This week, Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week returns. The Cubs take on the White Sox in an interleague battle. The Windy City bragging rights on the line. Coverage begins Saturday at noon, only on Fox. These Mets will be at home against the Yankees. They'll have Pedro Martinez against Mike Mussina.
88 pitches thrown by Mulder. Franco. Almost call him a living legend, couldn't you?
47 years old. Takes a strike. Steve Trachsel talking to Rick Peterson, his pitching coach. And there's not much that Trachsel can quarrel with for the effort and the job he did here tonight. To this point, he's just been outpitched by Mark Mulder. The 0-1. Busch Light Midwest Sports Report is coming up right after this game, and at the moment we're only about 2 hours and 4 minutes in.
Make up for yesterday's, maybe.
Maybe. Bronco with a count of 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out, nobody on, takes the ball. Anybody paying any attention to the Detroit Tigers? About to start their off too under Jim Leland. They won 2-0 tonight, beat Johan Santana and the Minnesota Twins.
And unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Their turnaround.
Change up here.
And another easy ground ball. Aaron Miles gathers it up. Mulder has been terrific. Bottom of the 8th inning. Cardinals will bat. Get some breathing room. They lead it 1-0. Today's Jack in the Box game recap. It will feature a lot of pitching. Fact number 30 is the star of the game recap, and Juaner Sanchez is our call to the bullpen, brought to you by Chevrolet. Takes over for Trachsel, bottom of the 8th. Taguchi, first pitch swinging, strike 1. Took over for Rodriguez in the top of his 8th. Taguchi, Pujols, and Edmonds against the hard-throwing former Dodger. Almost walked into it.
Sanchez pitched an inning last night. The Cardinal hitters couldn't do anything against him. No hitters did anything against him as he started his Met career with 21 scoreless innings.
91 miles an hour over the outside corner. Strike 2.
Had a 1-2-3 8th inning, and Taguchi hit a little ground ball to first base last night.
2-2. Got Sanchez who can bring it. They've got Jorge Julio. They've got Aaron Heilman who can hit the mid-90s, and they've got Billy Wagner who is in the upper 90s. Not a lot of teams have that kind of firepower in their bullpen. Full count.
You got to throw strikes. Sinker, try and get a ground ball.
And instead gets a foul tip.
Same thing, just a sinker. Two-seam fastball.
Another foul. So the sign for the sinker is to move your finger around like it's going down a drain.
Yep.
So it really should be a drainer.
A drainer.
But on the mound is Dwainer. Dwainer's drainer is really a sinker. And the last two
keep on going. There's drainers
have been fouled. And now a walk. Good job by Taguchi, and that brings Pujols up with a man on. Our singular wireless text message question was Albert's greatest asset as he digs his way in, hitting for power, average, defense, leadership, citizenship. The answer is B, hitting for average, according to you as you texted your vote. If I'm reading that correctly.
Oh, you read it perfectly.
Okay. One on, nobody out. Cardinals put their leadoff man on for the first time all night. Pujols has walked and scored the only run.
Got 4 hits, but he received 4 walks. Mulder pitching a gem, just trying to concentrate on the night.
Boy, he looks nervous, doesn't he?
Yeah, real nervous.
Taguchi's running, and Albert fouls it out of play. So Tony La Russa putting the pedal down a little bit, trying to make something happen on the bases, force the action, and at least get one more run.
Albert last night in the 9th inning off of this pitcher popped in foul territory to the first baseman.
Good pitch. 0-2. Slow roller. Like a bunt. Hustling is Pujols, and out at first as Delgado kept his foot on the bag.
Tim Welke, the first base umpire, said he held on the bag.
Back here tomorrow on the air with an 11:30 a.m. pregame. Might be, hopefully will be, the rubber match of this series. Jason Marquis against Jose Lima. It was the only Dodger to beat the Cardinals in a divisional series a couple of years ago. Here is Edmonds with Taguchi at second, 1 out. LaDuca almost didn't catch it. Spun him around.
Pretty athletic to
33-year-old catcher.
Set up outside, and the ball way inside, and it almost spins him around, and then he remembers he's got a man out at second base on top of it.
Two 2-0.
He is breathing, and he's got a pulse. He's concentrating.
Here is a 2-0 to Edmonds. 3-0 with Rolen on deck. Rolen, has the only RBI all night. Now they'll walk Edmonds. An intentional pass and put 2 on for Rolen. Back in the 6th. An 0-2 pitch with 2 out. Pujols at first. That thing rolled all the way to the track. Scored Albert with the only run of the night.
His 19th RBI.
This packed house looking at the 2 on Taguchi, Edmonds. They'd love to see him run. In at the knees, strike 1.
Deep, but still that void out in left center.
He goes to right. That's caught for 1 out. Now they're saying that Delgado didn't catch it on the fly, so they've got Taguchi hung up in a rundown and eventually the double play. Looked for a minute like Delgado, and he's still arguing that he caught it on a line. Kerwin Danley said he trapped it. Either way, it's a double play, and it keeps it 1-0 as we go to the 9th, and Mulder goes back to work. Thank you, Thomas. It's 1-0 as we move to the 9th inning. Mark Mulder will pitch to top of the order. Reyes, Loduca, Beltran. And it's Braden Looper who's getting ready out in the bullpen. That's interesting. That misses down and in. Ball 1 to Reyes, who's 0 for 3. So it's Looper getting loose in the bullpen. And Mulder trying to finish what he started. 1 ball, 1 strike on Reyes, who has been kept off base with a strikeout and 2 groundouts. Where they have been totally baffled all night by Mark Mulder.
His changeup's been a big pitch. His curveball has just been very, very sharp, and he spotted his fastball and sinker. There's the curveball we talked about. Want to bounce it.
He does. It's 2-2. On deck, Loduca, then Beltran. Anybody gets on, Delgado.
Interesting about Looper warming up.
It really is.
Fastball away.
And Reyes goes into right center field. That is trouble. Encarnacion can't cut it off cleanly, and that means that Reyes will think about 3, but hold at second with a leadoff double. So there's the tying run with nobody out here in the 9th in Cardinal baseball on FSN Midwest, brought to you by Budweiser. Bright, crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer. By Chevrolet. See your Mid-America Chevy dealer today. Chevy, an American Revolution. And by Advance Auto. We're ready in advance.
Boy, he has great speed, Reyes, and he goes flying around there, kind of tippy-toeing, hold him up. And it was a good relay. They had a legitimate shot at third base, but as soon as the ball was hit, Izzy got up.
A little bunt by Loduca. Over to third is Reyes, 1 down. Yeah, even with the great speed, I agree with you. Reyes would have been out by a mile because of this. Encarnacion, Edmonds backing up. That was the key to it.
And then here Miles had a strong throw, and it was on the money right to Scott Rolen at the bag. So the sack's good. Got that runner at third base for Beltran. So, you know, Looper might have been throwing on his own, but it was a little surprising to me that you just didn't have Izzy up to start the inning.
Now Izzy is up alongside Looper. The infield is in. The tying run at third. 1 out, and Beltran at the plate. Ball 1. Beltran tonight bounced into a double play, walked, and struck out.
Now the Mets are going to have their chances here. They've got the guys coming up that they want.
Reyes at third, one out. Beltran hits it foul outside third and about 3 inches from a tie game. How did Gary Cederstrom make the call while getting out of the way?
Now you can see right here a good look, and you can see it is foul, but he held his ground until that ball got past the third base bag.
That ball was hammered by Beltran. Here's a 1-1.
Joe Looper was up all by himself because he is sitting down. He's sat down now. Hopefully we won't need him later.
2 balls and a strike on Carlos Beltran. Mulder looks back at the area where his right foot landed after missing wildly. Molina trying to make Beltran think it was going to be down and in. Setting up outside, and Mulder misses by a mile with those last 2. Here comes Dave Duncan to talk before Delgado walks in.
Second walk, both of them to Beltran, and you almost get the idea that he just sit there and said, wait a minute, I've got more confidence in throwing a double play ball against Delgado. But problem is David Wright has been the biggest offensive weapon on deck. So
here's the thing for Mulder. If he gets Delgado but doesn't get a double play ball and David Wright steps in, you could see Isringhausen.
Yeah. Crowd trying to come alive right here. Delgado has struck out, bounced into a double play, and lined to left field. That's what it's all about. And you know, 1-0 ball games, 1-run games. This is why it's so much fun to watch them, because you could go down to the very last pitch and you still don't know what the outcome will be.
First and third, 1 out. Delgado, strike 1. In our opinion, the 2 best teams in the National League hooked up in a 1-0 game in the 9th. Reyes the tying run at third. Beltran the go-ahead runner at first. 0-1.
Had a very competitive game yesterday until the rains came.
What's it going to be with Delgado? 29 RBIs on the year.
Mulder retired 11 in a row until the Reyes double to start this 9th inning. You saw Dave Duncan, Tony La Russa looking, and I think they were trying to look for the answer to what you say if they retire Delgado and the game's still on. Fastball in.
And he hits Delgado with an 0-2 pitch. Didn't try to run a fastball in under his hands. It got away. Now the bases are loaded, and we could very well see Isringhausen. And let's see how Tony La Russa reacts to that 0-2 pitch.
You know, Tony tries not to show much emotion or reaction, but sometimes it gets the best of him. Just trying to go in, but he wasn't going to leave it out over the plate, get hurt. And here comes Tony, part of a double switch.
Larry Bigby will play the outfield.
Go to left field.
Taguchi may go to center. Edmonds could be coming out either way. The bottom line is Isringhausen's about to enter a bases loaded 1-out situation in a 1-0 game. What a job tonight by Mulder. But he leaves it in the hands of the Cardinal closer. Two outs shy of a complete game. Izzy is in. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Chevrolet, and the former New York Met Jason Isringhausen will come on with the bases loaded, 1 out.
Well, Izzy has picked up saves in each of his last 5 outings and 7 of his last 8. Remember on May the 9th, he struck out the side and then to pick up his 9th save, and he could use a couple strikeouts right here. But this is old-fashioned hardball. A lot of fun right here. Izzy not the strikeout pitcher he once was, but he can do it.
Bases loaded, 1 out. David Wright takes a strike.
Sometimes as a reliever you come in these situations and they're a lot of fun. You know, it's no fun if you're the starter because you have to sit there and wait. But the pressure's on both sides. You just go out there and have fun with it.
Infielders hoping for the double play ball. 0-2. Izzy, who came up with the Mets in '95, taking on David Wright, their new phenom, who's 2 for 3 tonight and hitting .315 with 25 RBIs. Good pitch. Wright wouldn't chase it. Ball 1.
Way ahead in the count. Tried to throw that cutter out there, get him to expand the zone a little bit. Wouldn't offer. You know, the pitch that Izzy's gotten a lot of mileage on this year is that curveball, which has just frozen a lot of hitters. But he's got in the driver's seat now in many ways. Looks like it's coming in, back away. Oh my goodness.
They appeal, no swing, 2-2. Pretty good pitch on its own.
Yeah, good pitch right there, just a little bit off the plate. Another cutter, and I don't think he swung, and they called it a ball. Now Molina calls time. Middle infielders come in, part of this case. Pitch locations being relayed to the hitter. Change sequence.
Isringhausen, part of that Generation K, came up with Paul Wilson and Bill Pulsipher for the Mets in the mid-90s. Made his name really with Oakland. Trying to get the save from Mulder. 2-2 pitch. 2 out.
Oftentimes you get a situation like this, the first pitch strikes you get, but now you struck out the man with the bases loaded and 2 outs. You may not know how you're going to get the 3rd out, but the one thing is, you know, you're going to get the 3rd out before they score. Cliff Floyd might have something to say about that. And time's called.
Another meeting, 40,573. A sellout, and they've seen a great game. And now it's coming down to the final pitches of the night, potentially. The only RBI to this point belongs to Scott Rolen.
Cardinal bullpen, statistically #1 in the National League.
In ERA and opponent's average against. Some success for Floyd against Isringhausen. Here we go. Ball 1, and it looked like Floyd wouldn't have been too upset if it hit him.
No. As he hit him one other time, it looked like he almost wanted to kind of lean into that cutter coming in on him.
One ball, one strike. Dan McLaughlin did a feature in our Open about baseball's best records. The two best records in the National League hooking up in this series. The White Sox with the overall best record tied with Detroit. The Red Sox in between the Mets and Cardinals. What a game tonight. Bases loaded, 2 out, 1-0. Isringhausen and Cliff Floyd.
Off again, calls Molina called timeout this time.
Play Floyd to pull in the outfield. The infield plays into pull. Doesn't run well. 1-1 pitch. 2-1.
Another one close to that kneecap. Floyd has been hit by 6 pitches. But we aren't going that way.
Right on top of the plate, waits for a 2-1 pitch from Isringhausen. 2-2.
As he was having his problems, it seemed like the cutter was the pitch that he had trouble locating, and it's been almost the exclusive pitch with his first 2 hitters.
Albert, what a night. Mulder, Izzy, 1-0 the final. Isringhausen with no room to breathe, coming out there with the bases loaded, only 1 out, and getting David Wright and Cliff Floyd. And our Bud play of the game has got to be with the bases loaded, 2 out, and a 2-2 pitch. The final ground ball, the final swing, and the reaction from Mark Mulder with that effort by Jason Isringhausen. Comes away with a 5-1 record. Might have turned in his best outing of the season here tonight and almost finished it. Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Productions and is an exclusive presentation of FSN Midwest. Next game tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. with a pregame. Midwest Sports Report right now.